Hi, everybody. This is Stephanie Kraft. In this video, I want to talk about how we manifest disease and illness and physical conditions in the body. Today is December 20th, 2020, and going through this year of 2020, it has become very apparent to me that people don't understand much about how we manifest illness in the body. So, everything originates in the soul. If there's a spiritual conflict and it's not resolved, it manifests in the body. First, it comes through the spiritual body. If it's not resolved there, into the mental and emotional bodies. And if they're not resolved, if these conflicts are not resolved in the emotional body or the mental body, it will come into the physical body and manifest as something. Everything that happens to us originates at the level of our soul, and we are in agreement with it. If it's not meant to happen or manifest, it won't. Everything that happens in the body is meant to, because it is our teacher and we are the healer. And people are not aware of this. And it's important for humanity to become aware of how they are creating and manifesting in their body. So, as we can see this year, people are afraid of I'll just say V, because I'm not going to say words that will have my YouTube channel removed. And so people are in fear of something outside of them that they think that they can get. That is not how this works. You have to have conditions, an environment within your body as a result of your thinking, your feeling, your emotions, your thoughts, your mind, your consciousness, your vibration, and your spiritual outlook and your soul. If these conditions are not in the body as a result of all of those layers or levels of yourself, nothing that will not manifest within you. If there are conditions within your body that would become the host of something like that, then you can get something. You cannot just get something no matter what, just because you're exposed to something, just because you're near someone who has something. It doesn't work like that. There have been experiments done where people, I just read a scientific study, and I'm not going to get the details right, but it was something like they inserted and gave pathogens to people or animals. I think it might have been actually animals in the study, and they gave them pathogens that were supposedly contagious, and none of them got them. None of these subjects in the study manifested the illness. None of them did, even though this pathogen was put inside their nose, inside their mouth, given to them in every possible way. None of them manifested this illness. And so we have to go back to understanding how we actually get something. It is not outside of us. And there are so many doctors who work with sick patients every single day and never get sick. Think about that. So I had a client one time. She was a hypnotherapy client of mine. she gave me permission to share her story years ago, and so that's why I can share it here. She had stage 4 cancer. She was either, I think she was approximately 34 years old, and she had 3 children and a husband. And technically she was dying, and she knew it, and she came to me for a Life Between Lives hypnotherapy session. This is where you take the person through like a past life. It's a very long session. It's about 3 or 4 hours. But after they leave the body, at the time of death, like if you visit a past life, then you just take them to the last day, leave the body, and then they go home. In that space, they're then in their soul state, and their soul basically channels through them. It becomes their soul speaking. And I get to ask questions. And the client, of course, is aware the whole time of the information coming through. So we explored. Her whole reason for coming to me was to decide, do I stay or do I go? Do I die right now from this stage 4 cancer, or do I release it and stay here and keep living? And so in the session, she had basically a meeting with her soul, and her soul told her, you know how to do this, meaning heal and release this cancer. You know, you can make the decision. And so if you want. So for her to make the decision, they showed her how her husband and 3 children would respond to her dying, and her husband and one of her children would not have handled it well. And so she made the decision right there in the session to live and to release the cancer. But within the session, she was also made aware of, because her cancer had spread to many, many locations in her body, all over the place, many organs, bones, different places in the body. Every place was for a reason. Every reason was an emotional wound or an emotional thing that she had to overcome, learn, grow, understand, right, about that concept. So if it's worthiness, right, if someone feels unworthy, then the cancer went to one location, and if she became healed the unworthiness, then the cancer in that location would leave. If it was heartbreak, maybe the cancer was like maybe in her breast, for example, near the heart, the left side. If but for example, if she healed heartbreak, then that would be healed. So basically, she was given understanding about every single emotion and why it manifested in the body and where. But anyway, so that was a lot of information and that she got. And then when she got off I do the sessions on a massage table. And when she got off my table and left, she was cancer free. She cured her cancer during the session. And we know that only because she then sent me her scans that she had gotten done right after that, showing that she was cancer free. She had been healed and cured during the hypnosis session. And that was also, according to her soul, curing her because she had made an agreement to live and understand all of the reasons for the cancer manifesting. So she told me that, I asked her, can I share your story? But also there are clients who have cancer who want to heal and to understand this process. And she said, you can send anybody to me I can help them understand this. And so a couple years later, I followed up with her and I asked her how she's doing and could she help someone with their process. And she wrote back to me and told me that her cancer had returned. And this woman has a direct communication with her higher self. So she knows exactly why the cancer is in each specific location in her body. She knows exactly the emotional wound or the situation that she needs to heal in order for the cancer to disappear in each location. So she wasn't, I'm not telling you this story to say I have somebody to refer you to help you. No, I mean, and that the point of my story, sharing her story, is that your soul, it's between you and your soul about manifesting illness and your healing and where it's showing up in your body and how and why. And it's not going to do that without this ongoing communication with your soul. It's happening during the night when you're sleeping. It's happening in the spiritual realm, and we're not consciously aware of it. It is not random. It is not, oh, I ate this, so then that happened. It's not, there's so many layers to this and levels to this. So yes, we have to take care of our body. If we take specific nutrients and we eat the foods that are good for our body, we are going to create a healthy environment that will definitely fight off certain things. That part is true. But if we're meant to experience something and get something, we're going to. If our soul thinks it's going to help us learn something, it will give it to us physically to go through that process. If you're able to process what you need to learn and understand spiritually, it will go just through that level, or mentally, just through that level, or emotionally, just through that level. If you're not able to process and understand and learn what you need to at those levels, it's not getting resolved, it will come into the physical body. I think it's important for people to understand these things, that it's not just the physical plane that we need to worry about. It's not just diet. It's not just nutrients or supplements or sunlight, water, clean water. It is these things in order to help your body function optimally, but you can still do all of these things and get sick or something, if there are issues at other levels of your being or reasons for it to happen at the soul level. I hope that you can understand that. It's not random. So I'm making this video now because, and I don't even think probably most of the people who need to hear it will hear it, because a lot of the people who listen to me are already very in tune and have a great understanding of things, but maybe there'll be a ripple effect of understanding. But this understanding needs to go out to the masses so that humans in general can understand how diseases and illnesses and things like that manifest. People walking around, wearing the thing on their face, which I'm not going to name, thinking that that's going to protect them, which is a joke. It's actually ridiculous. It's insane. That's not going to help, and it's only going to make matters worse because of breathing in a huge amount more of bacteria and viruses that are being recirculated in your body. So you're actually creating more toxicity. You're creating something in your mouth that is going to harbor more illness, and then into the lungs and body, and lack of oxygen and all kinds, brain damage and all kinds of things that are a result of doing that, which is stupidity, honestly. And that needs to just That just needs to stop, but people have to wake up to that and understand what they're doing to themselves. They're not helping in any way. They're actually more likely to get sick. And that's actually scientifically proven. And there are tons of studies about this and tons of science showing this. So that's the thing. It's that people are walking around in fear that they're going to get something and then doing something like that that's making matters worse and thinking that that's the one thing that's going to protect them, when that's the last thing on earth that will protect them and will make it matters worse. Because let's just say you think that's the one thing that's going to protect you, and then you go and you be around people more. Well, if things are contagious, then you're just putting yourself more at risk. But so that's stupid, because you're not protecting yourself. But I still don't believe that it's risky to be around people, because of the whole thing that I'm talking about is that it isn't about avoidance. It's about, if your soul wants you to get it, it is up to your soul. If you harbor fear in your body, you're more likely to get something, because you're bringing your vibration down. You have to learn something from having that much fear. It's not wise or healthy or sane to have that much fear. You need to work on yourself and get help if you have any fear about anything. If you ever experience any fear, you have work to do. We can have a momentary fear, and that's different from danger and to keep us safe. Like if we're about to crash into a car, we have to slam on our brakes, our heart rate is going to go up, and we're going to have a fear response. We're going to have a stress response, and then it's going to calm down in a few minutes. That is not the type of fear I'm talking about. That's momentary in danger. I'm talking about prolonged fear and anxiety about anything in the world, whether it's you can't pay your rent, or you're afraid of some illness, or afraid of someone dying. Any of those fears are not healthy, and if they are prolonged, then you need to realize that you are not healthy and you need to seek help and not let that harbor within you, because then you will create disease in your body, most likely in some form. Whether, even if it's not disease, it might be a condition, right? A headache or an asthma attack or fatigue, something, anything that you have a vulnerability to in your body can manifest by strong emotions. So I want people to understand that things are not happening to you from outside of you. You are creating all of it. Nothing can happen to you that's not already in agreement with your soul. I don't know if you've ever watched this video on YouTube called My Near-Death Experience in Iraq. And the woman who's giving the speech, her name is Natalie Sudman. And she talks about her near-death experience in Iraq, where she was in a Jeep, and there were 4 people in the Jeep, and it drove over a bomb, and the bomb exploded, and parts of her body exploded, and she had a near-death experience. Like her wrist and her eye and her head, some different parts of her body were very badly injured. She went to the other side in a near-death experience. And when she was there, she was surrounded by a stadium of beings of light. And part of her experience was that her soul, and I think some helpers, some beings of light that she knew, were guiding her through healing her body. So she was able to project white light to her body. She could see her body on the ground after the explosion, and her wrist was exploded, but she could, or shattered, I should say, and she could send white light to completely heal her wrist. And yet her guides, her helpers, whatever you want to call them, her friends, she doesn't call them her guides, so I'm just kind of changing the words to be respectful of the language that she uses or the concepts that she explains. They were saying, well, you actually get to choose your injuries, and you are going to need to keep some injuries when you go back to Earth, because for whatever reason, and she didn't share the reasons. She doesn't share the reasons because they're private for her own self to work through. So she was able to send white light to heal her whole body, or she was rearranging her injuries, manipulating them with the white light. She had, her eyeball was, sorry to be, graphic, but it was like gone or out of the body, her body, and she put her eye back in, and she lost vision in that eye, but she got to keep her eyes. She was in control. From the other side, she was in control of manipulating her body with the white light to choose her injuries and heal herself in whatever ways she wanted. So she got to pick the injuries she would come back with, and she came back into her body, and she was in Walter Reed Hospital for many months in recovery. So the reason I'm sharing her story is because look at that example. Her soul is the one who got to heal her, who chose her injuries, who got to change her injuries and design it, right? Create it. That's how much control. I'm sorry. I just knocked my computer. I'm so sorry for that loud thump. That's how much control we have over ourselves. Now, we're not consciously aware of that. That's true. It takes, in her case, it took a near-death experience crossing over to get that view into the other side. But we, by her sharing that information, we can bring it down into our knowing and say, okay, well, if I'm in control of this, then if I'm having this illness or this condition or this disease, then what am I, what created it? What thought, what event? Usually there's a trauma that happens, and then there's a manifestation of something in the body. We get to explore that. We get to explore our emotions. What emotion caused it? Where is it in the body? As a medical intuitive healer, the way that I work is I go into the person's condition and I get the emotional root cause and the event, or the event that happened. I get like a combination of that information so that we can heal it at the root cause. And it's never just about healing at the physical level. I always go deeper into the cause and heal that. So I mean, because that's my world and that's the work that I do, I guess I feel like I might know more than just the average person. I mean, a lot of people know what I'm talking about. Millions of healers in the world know exactly what I'm talking about. It's just that regular people, or like non-healer intuitive people, don't understand this. That's why I'm trying to explain it so that people can get a better idea and kind of let go of this fear and anxiety of being in the world or being around other people or thinking you can get something from other people. That's just not how it works. It's just not how it works. It has to be in agreement with your soul. There has to be a reason for you to get it. It's not random. You choose that at higher levels. No one outside of you is to blame. There's always a reason. It's always between you and your soul. Yes, you can do what you can to be healthy, and you should, and we all should. I mean, because if we're not, then there's an issue there, right? there's an underlying issue if we're neglecting ourselves. So all of it matters. Every bit of self-love and worthiness and attention, nurturance that we have for ourselves is going to create health. And if we're neglecting those levels, we can manifest illness in order to learn that and develop that. And it can be so many other things like anger and fear and trauma. So many times we experience a trauma in life and then we have a physical problem afterwards. And yeah, of course, that makes sense. And so then we have to heal that, not just at the physical level, but at the root cause. Interestingly enough, I don't know if I've ever shared this. I might have shared this in a live video that I did, but I was having some like sacral and hip pain for a long time. And I was told that I had been crushed, my pelvis had been crushed in another lifetime by a horse-drawn carriage. Like it ran over me, crushed my pelvis, and I died like 4 or 5 days later. Now, I'm not exactly 100% sure what triggered that in this lifetime. That I know it's connected because I had it manifesting as my sacrum and my hips getting out of alignment for whatever reason, and having like muscles in the hips kind of pulling on the bones. There was some, I think, muscle spasms. Anyway, I ended up listening to a past life regression audio on YouTube. I actually fell asleep, or I went out and I didn't remember anything from that. I did see one vision of a horse, but that's all I saw or remembered. But when I came out of that, and my intention, I set my intention, let me heal my back. And this was in March and this year. And I laid down on my bed, put the audio on, totally went out, just saw the vision, one image of a horse. And then when I came out of it, when it ended, I got up and my back was healed. So my back healed, and I didn't remember visiting the lifetime, but it was connected to that. And my point in sharing that is sometimes what we have going on in our body is left over from another life, from a trauma from another life, and we've carried it into this life for a reason, probably to continue learning whatever we were meant to learn or resolve whatever was unresolved. And when I do past life regressions with people for this reason, or for any reason, but if they have something in their body that needs healing, and we visit the lifetime where it originated, just by visiting that lifetime and reliving that event, it heals the body. They come out of the session healed. And so that's another layer or level to this. And it's all within you. It's not from the outside. You're emanating your life, you're emanating your health and your well-being. And I just wanted to make a video to explain that process so you can take ownership of everything you're going through, not blame other people, and not project it onto other people as if it's their responsibility. Your health has nothing to do with another person and is not another person's responsibility at all. 0%. You have to take full ownership of everything that's happening to you and within you. It has nothing to do with other people. Even, for example, if you're in an abusive situation and you get sick from that, it's your response, and it's not the other person's fault. It's really they're a catalyst for you in your life for many reasons, but you can't blame the other person for your illness. You have to heal yourself and understand how it manifested. So it's easy to blame other people, but really that's not valid. I think that's enough on this topic for now. If you have any questions about it, let me know in the comments, and I can either make another video if there are a lot of questions, or answer things. Or if you need a session for healing, anything, emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, I'm here for you. My website is stephaniecraft.com. I'm an energy healer, a hypnotherapist, and medical intuitive. And with my medical intuitive skills, I don't scan the body and see or diagnose. I really get to the core cause emotionally and spiritually and clear it and heal it that way. So that's the way that I work. All right, everybody. I hope this has been helpful, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.